Hormones play a role in cell division by being kind of a messenger, giving cells the message that they need to start to split up. So firstly, let's some things about hormones before we look at how they actually relay that message onto cells. Now, hormones are chemicals which are secreted from glands. So glands secrete hormones out into our bloodstream, so they travel through the bloodstream. So they use the bloodstream as kind of their highway to be able to travel around the body to where they are required, or where the cells are that they need to send or relay a certain message to. And in order to transfer a message to a cell, they bind to cell receptors, so receptors on the outside in the membrane of cells. So they bind to cell receptors in order to stimulate a response. So to make something happen inside of the cell. So let's have a look at this in action. If we imagine we have a cell here, alright, that can be our cell. Now on the outside of the cell, what we're going to do is we're going to have a particular protein. So this is going to be a receptor protein. This is our receptor protein here, located in the cell membrane. Now this is going to be a particular receptor for a particular type of hormone, which is going to come along to the cell, bind with it, and send the message that cells need to divide. So for example, a particular gland might control or have an influence on growth inside the body, and that gland is going to send out these hormones or these chemicals to the bloodstream that are going to try and bind with this receptor and tell the cell to divide, and this is going to lead to overall growth. So we have here a receptor protein located in the membrane. We're also going to have here something which looks something like this, and which is going to obviously be able to bind in a somewhat complementary manner to our receptor. So this is our hormone. So what's going to happen is our hormone is going to be able to move down into the active site there on the receptor protein, and it's going to bind with that receptor protein, which will then trigger a specific internal kind of messenger called a relay protein, which will be stimulated once this hormone binds to the receptor protein, and it's going to be able to relay on the message into the cell and eventually into the nucleus. So what's going to happen here is this message is going to be sent to the nucleus. So the relay protein is going to send this message that the hormone was trying to send to the cell onto the nucleus, where we obviously have our DNA housed. And now what's going to happen is the whole idea of what this hormone wants to do is it wants to stimulate the production of proteins which stimulate cell division. So now there's a few steps to that, so I'll go back to the start. I'll talk through once again. We start off with a gland which secretes a hormone, which is a type of chemical. That hormone will then travel through the bloodstream to a particular cell that it wants to tell to divide. The hormone will bind with a receptor protein, here, and this will then stimulate a relay protein to transfer a message to the nucleus. This message, once received by the nucleus, is then going to be passed on, and what we end up with is we will see a particular gene located on the DNA, a particular gene located on the DNA that programs for the production of a particular protein that is going to stimulate cell division, we are going to start to see this protein being created. So in the case of the cell, this is most likely going to be something like cyclin, which binds with, so if you remember, we have cyclin binds with cyclin-dependent kinase in order to get mitosis promoting factor. So something like cyclin might be the particular protein which is going to be starting to be produced in larger numbers, because then it will be able to bind with cyclin-dependent kinase to make mitosis promoting factor, and then what we're going to see is we're going to see cell division start to occur, and we might get that growth that the particular hormone was trying to tell our body to begin. So from start to finish, a gland will secrete a hormone, which is a type of chemical that travels through the bloodstream to a particular cell. The hormone will bind with a receptor protein, and then a relay protein will take a message to the nucleus. This message will be to stimulate the production of particular proteins which stimulate cell division, and then what we will see is cell division occur, and this might lead to the growth, for example, that the gland was hoping to achieve.